when I was a Nuwaubian, I had to sign a bunch of petitions every year. The Nuwaubians will come up with these petitions, and you had to sign them. You get about 1,000 signatures, 300,000 signatures, and it would be petitions like Dr.York is innocent. They charge this man with RICO laws and all of this stuff, and we need him free. He's there to teach us, and he's there to free us from mental slavery, etc. And every year I would sign those petitions. I knew that every petition that I would sign would get denied. That Dr. York will be serving his 135-year sentence in Florence, Colorado, the Supermax prison. That he'll be there until he basically dies. And it's like, I remember when I was in class, I was, in the Charlotte bookstore, and the teacher, the sister that actually taught classes on Sunday as well as owned the bookstore, she would say, he's really, really getting out this year. And then the next year coming, she'll say, he's really, really, really getting out this year. And everybody would say all of this stuff every year. Nuwaubians, whether it's Prince York or whomever it might have been, would say the same thing. And I get it. You want to be optimistic about the current situation that your master teacher's in. But I'm here to tell you that he is not getting out. That he is where he's supposed to be. Didn't your doctor, didn't your teacher teach you that? That was his slogan. You are where you're supposed to be. And Dr. York is where he's supposed to be. Serving 135 years for the horrendous crimes that he committed. Justice has been served. That plain and simple. And you may sit back and say, agent, informant, and black devil. How do you know that he's guilty? Well, I could easily go to YouTube and type in Dr. York pled guilty, and it came from the horse's mouth. It's just that plain and simple. He admitted that he was guilty. Now you all may rebuttal and say, well, he did it to get his wife out, Kathy Johnson, and this other lady, and they forced him, to sign it and admit that he's guilty because they tortured him, and just all of this BS. Give it up. Give it up, because the only thing that you're doing is regurgitating something that someone else said. That plain and simple. I know that game because I used to play it until I started using right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding, or rather Nuwaubu against Nuwaubu. I started using Nuwaubu against Dr. York. And then I realized, oh man, I was basically being brain dirty. Not brainwashed, because brainwash means just you cleansing your brain. But I was pretty much being fed dirt to my brain. Period. That all of this mess with the petitions and clemencies and all of this, he's a citizen of Liberia and he's from Ghana, give it up. All of the things that y'all have tried and failed, give it up. He is not getting out. And it's just that plain and simple. I remember one year, right? The Sabians, well back then the Nuwaubians, had this whole campaign. Hashtag Dr. York is free, dryorkisfree.com, and they was pushing and promoting the whole thing of Dr. York being free. Now, I understand it's a mantra, you want to verbally express that, and sooner than later, you hope, sooner than later, your words will physically manifest, and that eventually he will be free. But it backfired on you all. And people started walking around saying Dr. York is free, and they no longer supported the efforts of getting him out because they believed that he was truly free. Why? Because you all told people that Dr. York is free, which makes no sense to me. I don't understand that a man that writes over 1,000 books, that you claim that is the master of the universe, and that you are all master students. I don't understand how you all can make the most dumbest goddamn decision as to put out there to the world that Dr. York is free while he's in jail. That does not make sense to me. That does not make sense to me. And this is the reason why your organization, there's no credibility in your organization, because you'll do stupid shit like that. I'm more than sure when Dr. York was in jail and he got word of you all doing that Dr. York is free shit, I'm pretty sure he was pissed. I know I would be. I'm sitting in jail and I got a ton of people telling everybody else that possibly could help get me out that I'm free. That doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. And this whole thing, this is something else too. The Dr. York thing was big. The Dr. York thing was big. The Dr. York is free. That was big. That lasted for a good solid 2 years until it eventually died out, because then you all had to move on to the next thing because that didn't work. But it's like, then y'all came up with this thing where Dr. York said that he was in jail and this is a test for you all to show him your love and getting him out. They said that he said that he could walk out of jail. Just like that. But he's in jail to test us all in order for us to show him our love. That don't sound right. So you mean to tell me that this man's intentionally, this sounds like a story that's similar to what? The Jesus Christ story. That Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins. The same thing with Dr. York. So you telling me you're going through all of this pain and suffering. You had angioedema, but then an alien came called Krill and healed you. You're living underground in a super AdMax prison, right? You're only being let out one time out of the day for an hour. And they put you in cages. Put you in a cage. You're trying to convince me that you want to go through all of that just for love? No, that doesn't make sense to me. I know if I was a master teacher, a master of the universe, and I had the power to walk through the bars or out of the jail, I would do it. Period. But see, these are the games that Nuwaubians, or rather the Sabians, play. Knowing that this man is not going to get out of jail. Knowing that this man is 100% guilty. Period. And it makes no sense. When are y'all going to give it up, man? Straight up. When are you going to give it up? I have to just give you the harsh reality that Dr. York is going to die in jail. He is. And then guess what's going to happen? You're going to have one space cadet that's going to say that Dr. York has been Dr. York incarnated into my body. Thus, this whole comic book strip is going to continue to go on. Once that man dies, it's going to be a bunch of people that's going to pop up saying, I'm Dr. Malachi z.york, incarnated. Period. Dr. York incarnated in me. And it just doesn't make sense. This organization, or rather cult, definitely, I'm not going to say it needs to be dismantled. I think that personally, if someone that's sincere would take it over and be about the people, it can be something. Like, just because the whole Dr. York thing and him going to jail and being a pedophile and all the rest of that stuff, just because, he did that, that doesn't mean that the organization has to be tainted. And I know why you all changed your name. I think it's a good business move for you all to do that, from Nuwaubian to Sabian, because the Nuwaubians are tainted. They did a special on you all, People magazine. I looked at it, it was pretty good. And it's crazy for me to say this, because normally documentaries and stuff like that on cults and different people specifically dealing with the African American community is way off. But People magazine, they were pretty much tight. I didn't see too many lies or them exaggerating the truth. I mean, it was a pretty decent documentary on, the Nuwaubian cult. So I understand why you all changed your name. So now you can come out and you can say we're Sabians, and you no longer identify with Nuwaubu or Nuwaubians. I understand it. It's a good business move. But for the most part, sooner than later, somebody's gonna find out that Nuwaubians and Sabians are the same. And that y'all haven't changed the Dr. York's face. So you could change his name, Pod. You could go to Pod Nabab Yanun. You can go this person, that name, this, that, and so forth. But at the end of the day, you haven't changed his face. So eventually one day somebody's gonna look at his face and then find the same face serving 135 years. The gig is up, man. Straight up. It just is. And I don't understand how y'all don't understand that. I don't understand how y'all don't understand that this was all game. That he wasn't here to save souls. If that was the case, why is it that all of the bookstores, 90%, 99% of the bookstores are in urban areas where weak-minded people are, where he can be able to get over on people. He can be able to tell weak-minded people, yo, I'm from another planet and I got this information, and people will follow. Weak-minded people such as myself, I didn't have a father figure at home. So therefore, I was very much attracted to the organization. If you look at the Nuwaubians, all you're seeing is a bunch of misfits. That's it. That people that actually have internal problems that they haven't solved yet, that they thought that if they joined this organization, that it would change them. Period. And now that they're part of that organization, they have problems that they never dealt with on top of being in a cult, and it being mandatory for you to practice these particular things that you need to do in the organization or cult. One of them such as being turning, having to give money to the cult every week. You see what I'm saying? So I don't get it. I don't get how y'all don't understand that. He's supposed to be the master of the universe, right? He's here to save souls. So shouldn't he be saving rich people's souls too? Shouldn't he have a bookstore on Rodeo Drive in California, Los Angeles, California? Shouldn't he have a bookstore dead in the middle of Buckhead? Shouldn't he have a bookstore dead in the middle of Manhattan? Don't rich people have souls too? Don't rich people need to get the information as well? Why hasn't Duke and Harvard, prestigious schools such as Duke, Harvard, Yale, why are they not studying his books? Why, when he was out, when he was free, why didn't they invite him to Harvard, Yale, North Carolina State, and the likes? I know, because they would have ripped Dr. York's ass apart. Period. Books don't have no barcodes on them. You're here to save souls. Why wouldn't you put the barcodes on the books so that you can be able to stock them on bookshelves at bookstores or in the libraries? If this information and doctrine is so divine, I don't get it. Dr. York is not free, never will be. And his doctrine is very much flawed. He's plagiarized damn near 90% of his work is all plagiarism. Stole everybody's works. And it's just that plain and simple. And let's just say this, because you all know that Dr. York is a businessman, right? So if I'm not lying, please present the copyright papers. I wrote 2 books. I have my papers. I want you all to present copyright papers for every book that Dr. York has wrote. Because I just don't understand, why doesn't he have any barcodes on his books? I have a barcode on one of my books. The second one I chose not to do it because I didn't want to sell them in regular stores. And that was me being stupid. Basically, I was following behind him. I was on some shit like, oh, it's the mark of the beast, and the serial number, the barcode, and blah, 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 blah. Some dumb shit. Period. So, hey, listen. You got a family. You have friends. You don't need this. If you really listen to Dr. York, you would know that the journey is within.